I truly believe in the Colts this year. Not saying that, oh, we're going to make the Super Bowl. Oh, we're a perfect team. Oh, we're great. But we know the history this year hasn't even started yet, and all these injuries and everything transpiring. But we do have a few takeaways we can take from training camp and practices and put into a real overlooked perspective going into next season to give us a potential outlook of what we can do and what we can bring going into next year as well. Going off the defensive pass rush and the defensive line in general, I think they're going to be star stellar. I think they're going to be better than what they did last year, especially included we just drafted Kwity Paye, who's pretty much having himself a great training camp and preseason debut. Last game he had a sack. I think he's going to be a really good X factor going into this season. Being as though that from the takeaways that we didn't really have a good pass rush last year, which led to our secondary getting dotted up a lot. I think the pass rush is really much of a big deal going into next season because we really need that in order to ease up some of the pressure for our DBs because we're going to force the QB to force some bad passes, and that's how our DBs can become successful. Even our linebackers in general as well. But when you look at from the perspective of the pass rush, Kwity Paye coming back. Kamoko Toure is fully healthy now. That's another good sign to look at as well. Ben Banigou, a quiet stud. Well, not quiet but he was active now in the training camps and in preseason. He's been making noise all week long, well, pretty much all month long. Ben Banigou is pretty much a good asset. Isaac Rochelle even has some noise. Tyquan Lewis, DeForest Buckner, all these guys. When you look at the overall defensive line, you're like, okay, could be a scary force going into next season. Grover Stewart, Danico Autry, Kwity Paye, Kamoko Toure, but Ben Banigou is behind that on another duo side. Pretty much a scary thing. We got a bunch of plug-in players that can go out there and make some noise. Antoine Woods, a bunch of guys that the list can go on and on that can make some noise going into next season. And I think when you look at the linebacker core, Bobby Okariki's had himself a good preseason and training camp. Darius Leonard's back. He's out there. The secondaries is good. They're having some ups and downs, but they're looking pretty solid as well. I think when you put us in a general perspective going into next season, adding all these things, the pros and cons, but I think the pros outweighs the cons this year other than last year. I think we're actually going to have a really solid pass rush going into next season. I think it's going to be underrated, of course, but I think the pass rush is going to be much of an upgrade, and I think they're going to be actually pretty solid. I think they're going to make some noise next year for sure. Like I said, all the names that's been added, I think, just adding to what we already have and with the consistency of what we can do if we do have a pass rush, we're pretty much good on run stopping as well. But I think adding the pass rush to our defense is going to be a huge bonus, and I think it's an upgrade for sure. I think we're going to have a pretty decent pass rush. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section about it. All these things about the training camp, the pass rush and success. Who do you think is going to make the most noise off the line? And how does it benefit everyone else on the defense and the team in general? Let me know all these things in the comment section. Follow all the links in the description if you haven't as well. Either follow me on Twitter. This is Marcus, and until next time, you've been Culture Shock.